Om Jnana-timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Vichaitanya Manobhishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhuttale Swayam Rupakata Mahyam Darati Shvaparantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyarishatarine Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttaparakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shra Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Shaktam Shcha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Pre Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivashari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I had to put a little mosquito spray on. No? Everybody likes international dishes, no? Imported. And oh, they're also, they know about the Chinese. They don't bite Chinese. No? They get the virus. No? So. Yeah, I'm sorry I can't pass it around to everyone, but
That's okay.
So I just wanted to meet with all of you disciples, friends. You know, when I have a disciple meeting, it doesn't mean it's only for disciples, but it's directed to them. You know. Hopefully it's about Krishna consciousness. So I wanted to speak about two things and then see if any questions or any matter that someone would like to bring up. First of all, I wanted to stress, and I've done this in many classes here and other places, to stress the importance of Lord Chaitanya's instruction in Shikshastikam of the third verse. Trinadapi sunichena duror divasesnuna because just like here in Trinidad and so many places, you know, and I have the great fortune of being the GBC of many countries where devotees, there's a lot of variety of opinions and everyone is very attached to their opinion, and therefore, there is sometimes conflict. You know? But if we follow the Shikshastikam, which is meant to help us, to guide us, to instruct us, to engage us in proper chanting of the holy name, which is the whole purpose. Srila Prabhupada said, this holy name is for everyone, and by chanting it you can reach all perfection. And for those who are intellectually inclined, we also have our books. He didn't say that everyone has to study the books, although studying the books will help you. Austerities and penances. Prabhupada said, and our acharyas say, there's nothing wrong with austerities and penances and knowledge, as long, but you have to see them, they don't create bhakti. No. Actually, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he comments on Savai Pumso Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Ardoksa Jadis, 126, very important verse in the Bhagavatam, he says that actually, if we try to analyze bhakti, the Lord does not cause bhakti, because otherwise he would be accused of being partial, because some people get it, some people don't. Why wouldn't he give it to everyone? So therefore he cannot give bhakti. No. Although he is the origin and the purpose and the goal of bhakti. And the association of devotees cannot give bhakti because association of devotees is a branch of bhakti. And therefore, to properly associate with devotees, you have to be already fixed in bhakti. But the one person that can give bhakti is the devotee. No? Because a devotee can give bhakti because they have bhakti. And therefore they can give it. And then when they give it, through their association, you become engaged. So really the cause of bhakti is bhakti itself, which is manifested in the heart of a devotee. And therefore, if we're associating with one another, everybody's afraid of these first seats. Sometimes I would go to the class of Gaur Govinda Maharaj. And the first time I went, I sat right up front. So then he said, so who knows I forget what the question was. He said, Maharaj. So then I learned to sit in the back. So anyway, so if we've all joined this movement to acquire, to enter into bhakti and to get prema bhakti, because you can get karma misra bhakti and jnana misra bhakti by study and by understanding. You get some degree, but to get pure bhakti, you have to get it from devotees. But if we don't have the right attitude in approaching the Vaishnavas, then we cannot get it. And we want prema bhakti, because without prema bhakti, we cannot leave this material world. You can maybe get a better birth or a worse birth. And some people think, well, if I had to come back, well, it wouldn't be so bad, But we don't know what will come back and under what conditions will come back. So the point is that we have to take the Shikshastikam very seriously. I noticed in the temple that they're chanting the translation. I never learned the translation to anything except for the Guru Puja, the Guru, not Guru Vastkam, but Guru Vandana, because I always felt like I want to meditate on it as I'm chanting it. And therefore I never bothered to learn these things like word for word. And so I would suggest, sometimes when we just do a translation, we try to do it mindlessly. We learn the translation, we chant the verse, we don't really know what the verse means, and then we say the translation, and it's just kind of a memorized thing. Srila Prabhupada says in Nectar of Devotion that memorization doesn't mean parrot-like. Otherwise you don't memorize something and repeat it like a parrot. You memorize it and to understand its meaning. So we have to enter deeply into this Shikshastikam. Krishna consciousness doesn't mean that I live at home, I have my family, I struggle through my rounds every day, and I come to the temple when I can. That's what most of us do. And maybe that's as much as we can do at this point in time. But we should not think that this is real bhakti. This is the beginning. This is called abhasa bhakti, a shadow of bhakti. It's bhakti, but it's bhakti in a very preliminary stage. And it will not take you back home, back to Godhead, living in your house, being with your family. Prabhupada says in one purport, in the Kurma Brahman pastime, he says, there is no need to take sannyas. Everyone could live comfortably in their home and chant Hare Krishna. But that means, what do you do at home? You chant Hare Krishna. Not that I struggle through my rounds and I got that over with. Now I can do what I want. In 1968, Srila Prabhupada said, just chant your 16 rounds and you can do whatever you want. But that's not like a time capsule. That's, a time sealed instruction. It was an instruction for very neophyte devotees who were coming to the class smoking marijuana, taking LSD, no. And so Prabhupada said, just chant your rounds and then you can do it. He actually said you can do any damn thing, you know. He used that word because devotees were so neophyte, you know. But that doesn't mean that after 20 years in Krishna consciousness, I chant my rounds and then I do what I want. No. It means that in the beginning and at home, if we really want to know what we should do at home, then read second canto, third chapter, the purport to text, I think it's 22, 21, 22, maybe 23. That Prabhupada says that everyone should have deities of Radha Krishna, Sitaram, Gaurnitai, Shalagram, and from 4 in the morning to 10 at night, every family member should worship the deities. That was Prabhupada's idea of what family life is. You know? And our idea is a little different. You know? We don't even do that in the temple. You know? We start worshiping at 4 and we end up like 8:39. You know? But the point is, these are goals that we should not think, I'm okay right now, I'm gonna be like this for the rest of my life, I'm gonna live in my house, and I'm gonna, you know, chant and think about something else, and then, you know, I'll go to the temple and go to a kirtan and I'll complain about half the devotees. No, that's not where we should be at. So the way to correct that is really we have to respect the devotees. Tomorrow I'm giving a class in Panama. On my way to the U.S., I have a 4-hour stopover, so I'll go give the class. And so they asked me to speak on Jiva Doya, or the compassion to the living entities. But according to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, you can't have Jiva Doya, you can't feel real compassion unless you first do Vaishnava Seva. You worship the Vaishnava. As I mentioned sometimes, I forgot the verse right now, but Advaita, from the Skanda Purana, which Srila Prabhupada quotes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says there are 6 things that you should avoid in relation to the Vaishnavas. And the last one is, if you're not happy to see a Vaishnava. No. And that doesn't mean, well, I'm happy to see, you know, my husband or my wife and Vaishnava and, you know, so-and-so. You know, but it means everyone. Even if I don't agree with them, even if I don't like them, you know, their personality or, you know, the way they do something, we should be happy to see every Vaishnava. They're chanting the holy name. I may not agree with them. I may see that they have some bad habits. I may see that they don't follow the 4 regulated principles. And sometimes we even attribute that they don't follow, but we haven't seen it, but, you know, So we have to, you know, I say these things and generally in class many times. One time a professor in Dallas, Texas, when I was staying there, he said, why does Prabhupada repeat something so many times? And so he had a package of cigarettes. So I said, can I see your cigarette pack? I think it was a little, is the Swami going to smoke? No. So I took it, I said, warning, no, it may be harmful to your health. Now, how many times have you seen that? But you're still smoking. No. And he said, oh, okay, I understand. Why repeat? So I repeat these things again and again in the general class, but now I'm saying it to the disciples. Hopefully you'll take it a little more seriously. Because I want to see you all go back home, back to Godhead in this life. There may be some personal interest there also, because if you all go back home, back to Godhead, I don't have to come back to the material world. Even if I fail somehow or another, no. Then all of you going back home, back to God, you will pull me there. So this is my ardent desire. From Prabhupada's point of view, from my point of view, my duty, and also my self-interest. From every point of view, it's a good deal. So please accept this opportunity. And what do we have to do? Just every day, hear Srila Prabhupada's books. I recommend Vaisheshika Prabhu's program. He has two programs. One is Chad, which is chapter a day. No, means you read one chapter a day, Bhagavad Gita. You read the Sanskrit or you read the English, one or the other. It takes about 10-15 minutes. Maybe chapter 2 may take 20 minutes. No, a couple of chapters, 18 chapter. Few chapters that take a little longer. But most chapters 10-15 minutes to do the English or the Sanskrit. I would recommend changing one time Sanskrit, one time English. And then you read one purport. No, just one purport. So that's Chad. And another program is to read the Bhagavatam in 1 year, which requires reading 41 pages a day. No, only. No. And then if you can't do that, do 2 years. That's 20 pages and a half a day. No. And if you can't do that, do 3 years. That's 15 pages, 13 pages, 12 and a half pages a day. No. And if you can't do that, do 10 pages a day, 10.25 pages a day, and then 4 years. But better to do 1 year. And it may seem like a lot, but once you do it and you feel that nectar and that happiness of reading, especially those of you who are retired or semi-retired or tired, tired of material existence, then you can read, if you do this, you get an attachment, and then you want to do it every day. And it generally takes, after you get used to it, it takes like an hour a day, an hour and 15 minutes. And read out loud also, because because you're hearing, you're speaking, your more senses are engaged. And if you do this, then you'll feel so Krishna conscious. You'll just feel, all these, any negativity will disappear from the heart. And chanting, following the Shikshastika with humility, with tolerance. Tolerance means that I understand that I am responsible for everything that's happening in my life. Whether it's imposed by other living entities, material nature, or my mind or my body. I'm the cause. Now I may not be so happy about the instrument that does it to me, but I'm still the cause. Now, I may have to seek some justice because somebody did something that I didn't like, or, it wasn't fair and wasn't a good example. But generally speaking, Srila Prabhupada said, unless someone attacks us as an aggressor, meaning physically attacks us, we should just accept it as a lesson for our false ego. And so when we reduce that false ego down, down, down to where it disappears, then Krishna consciousness becomes so easy. But with a big false ego, it's very difficult. Very, very difficult to be Krishna conscious. So this is one thing I wanted to discuss. If we do this, all of our Vaishnava relations, Vaishnava Seva, then what comes after that? Nami Ruchi. You get more and more taste for the holy name. And then, after Namaruchi, then Jivedoya. Then we will be able to go out and we will be anxious to give Krishna consciousness to others. So this is the wonderful opportunity that Srila Prabhupada is giving us. And, naturally there'll be different opinions about so many things. Prabhupada said that's unity and diversity. We have to, we have to accept that. And Krishna is so great, he can accommodate. Just look, Krishna's accommodating the gopis of Radharani and Chandravali, and they're totally opposed to one another. They can't even see one another, generally speaking. Sometimes they tolerate, and Krishna's, just like sometimes one devotee will see how another devotee is serving Krishna in the spiritual, in Goloka Vrindavan, and they say, no, that's not right. Krishna won't like that. No. But Krishna likes everything that his pure devotees do. So if there's disagreement in Goloka Vrindavan, what to speak of Trinidad? No. But we can't allow that disagreement to create negativity in our heart. No. That's very important. Sometimes we're very expert at seeing the negativity in others, but not so much in myself. No. Even Jesus Christ said, before you see the faults of others, see the big stick in your eye. Otherwise, see what's blocking your vision. So if in a basic scripture it says that, what to speak of the most advanced, we have the most advanced scriptures in the world, in the universe. Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita. No. They don't even have Chaitanya Charitamrita in the heavenly planets. That's something that comes exclusively on this planet when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. And so we're so fortunate. We're more fortunate than the demigods. Even in the Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, it says that the demigods are very anxious to take birth in Kali Yuga because Jatra Sankirtanaya Neva. No, because the Sankirtan movement is there and they can go back home, back to Godhead very quickly. No. Not all the demigods, some of the more advanced ones. Some of the others would rather just stay in the heavenly planets. No? So, this is one thing. No? And another thing, well, that's basically what I wanted to say. I kind of combined the two things. So, Jivedoya is the instruction, otherwise to feel compassion for other living entities and give them Krishna consciousness, is the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said, and I've mentioned this sometimes here in Trinidad, I only have one request. No. And everybody thought, well, one is not so bad. Just do as I have done. No. Oh, one small request. No. So do what I have done, but that has different levels. It means we distribute books, we write, we chant, we hear, we worship, you know, but we always try to increase it. Srila Prabhupada said, we cannot imitate Raghunath Goswami, but we can follow his example. So we cannot imitate Srila Prabhupada, but we can follow his example, what he's done. As Srila Prabhupada said many times, you can do any one of the 9 processes of devotional service, meaning that you can emphasize. Doesn't mean that, oh, I only hear, I don't chant, no, or I only remember. But you can have remembering as your main activity. Oh, Pariksha Maharaj, as Prabhupada says in Nectar Devotion, Pariksha Maharaj achieved perfection by hearing. That doesn't mean he didn't chant, no. But that's what his main activity was. Shukadeva Goswami by chanting, no. Prasad Maharaj by remembering, and so on. No. So we should do these things. We should try to find one aspect of devotional service that is especially attractive to me, and I will do that. Doesn't mean I don't do anything else, but it means that I do that mainly, more than anything else. So anyway, I wanted to leave a little bit of time for some questions or some points that you might want to bring up. And these are the things I wanted to emphasize. Well, so any questions, any points? No complaints. Complaints you can give to Gopta or somebody else. Yes.
Gurudev,
Do we have a microphone that you can?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Gurudev, whenever we have Sangha like this, the enthusiasm is really high. And you feel like now, yeah, I can do more for Krishna, but after 1 week, 2 weeks, if we're lucky, 1 month, it dies. How does one keep that enthusiasm? To be able to serve and continue serving and to be able to experience the bliss. Because we always hear, like you were saying, everyone has their own opinion. So in Trinidad and maybe elsewhere, you will hear devotees talking. There's no senior, pure devotees around, and only when Gurudev come, you feel that enthusiasm. Let me listen to a lecture from foreign or associate foreign wise and so forth, so I can get that inspiration. But when you leave after Sangha like this, then even at the moment you have that enthusiasm, but as soon as you go and you see your devotees leave, that it dies. How do we keep that enthusiasm?
Sakala neha mahata yoga nashta pranantapa. It's natural that diminishes. When Prabhupada would come to a temple, they would paint everything, paint it, and fix everything up, and so it's natural. And if someone says there's no pure devotees around, then just become a pure devotee, and then there'll be one around at least. So, otherwise we want pure devotees to be around, so let me become a pure devotee, and then there'll be pure devotees. So I always say, if you want to achieve something, you want something, then you be part of it. So if we want purity, then we should try to do what I'm saying. I'm not saying this for tomorrow or this week only, and then next week, business as usual. Our business as usual is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. The other stuff, like working and doing everything else we do for maintaining the body, that's just incidental. It's just something we have to do to keep the body and the soul together. When you start to see things like that, we develop that vision by hearing and by meditating on that. This material world. One devotee in France, Prabhupada disciple, he had cancer. This cancer became so severe that he couldn't even talk anymore. It was like eating up his vocal cords, and so he would just write. And just like 2 days before he left, he said, "Since I got this cancer, it has been the most ecstatic time of my life, because I finally realized I'm not this body, and I'm so happy now that I have understood this fact that took me so long, and now that I realized I'm not this body, every day when I hear about Krishna, it's so much more meaningful." He said, "Before I would read the Krishna book, yes, it sounded nice and everything, but now in these last few months, I hear it and it stays with me, like it resonates in my mind and my consciousness." So the point is, if we hear, otherwise, like people always say, "Give me your blessings." Well, this is the blessing. The blessing is that we get some instruction, but a blessing has, it has the giver and the recipient. So you have to know how to receive a blessing. A blessing is not an electromagnetic charge, that we send out and boom, no. As Prabhupada said, it's not that the Guru gives the charge and then his battery is empty. So it's spiritual. It's it is the perfection of our existence to get these blessings. Krishna is blessing us with 700 instructions in Bhagavad Gita. Well, some are questions, so let's say 640 instructions, and and Shukadeva Goswami and Sutta Goswami are blessing us with 18,000 blessings. No? So you want blessings, there's thousands and millions of blessings, but we have to receive them. No? And so if we begin to see it in this way, this material existence has no meaning. No. It is only for becoming Krishna conscious. It has no meaning. No. There's no meaning to this material existence other than to become Krishna conscious. No. And if we do that, then we will actually be blessed. No. And that blessing will increase. So what I'm saying is that whatever level we're on, let us make sure we don't go down. We always go up. No, up, closer to Krishna. It may take 1 year, it may take 100 years, it may take 1,000 years. No, but we just have to always be increasing. Isn't there another way to, isn't like their control for each microphone?
Yeah, yes, I don't know which microphone you have, but I'll figure it out.
Well, we can find that out very easy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna.
Alright, I got it. Go ahead, Mata.
Hare Krishna. I just wanted to say something. It's difficult to it's difficult to talk to people and say, hey, listen, so and so, until the person is not cornered. And the person is cornered on all sides. He's blasted with all kind of problems. And the person realizes that, listen, this material world is really not worthwhile. Deep down, then only that impetus comes. For that spiritual, because all the time we read and we say, yeah, it's nice, but when you get those blows really become like a blessing in disguise.
This is the lesson in the pastime with Nalakuvara and Manigriva. The lesson is that when you have material wealth, opulence, good fortune, good success, good health, then generally you don't take spiritual life very seriously. I mean, most of us are here because of two reasons. Either we want something from Krishna, or we're suffering, and probably 80% we're here because we were suffering. But we have to understand that the purpose of Krishna consciousness is not to get rid of suffering. That's just a consequence, it's a byproduct. No. It's not meant to stop suffering. Although it does do it. That's one of the, one of the characteristics of devotional service. But if we simply see devotional service as something to stop my suffering, then we won't be focused on the goal, which is to love Krishna and please Krishna. No. So, but because we've come to devotional service, we may not be cornered, as you coined the phrase. No? Sometimes we paint ourselves into a corner, but the point we can still, even if we have good fortune and everything, just like Srila Prabhupada says in one purport, that if you give charity to a Brahmin, you will get the same benefit. If you give it to a very qualified Brahmin, you'll get, 100 times more. If you give it to a Veda Paraga, then you will get unlimited blessings. So the point of charity, that doesn't always mean money, it means service. If we try to serve the Vaishnavas, then Krishna opens the door of devotional service, because we're already practicing Krishna consciousness. So whether I'm having good fortune, medium fortune, no fortune, or whatever, I can still make advancement. Generally speaking, if we have material facility, our advancement is slower because we have facility to enjoy. And because the body and the mind are inclined to material enjoyment, then no, but it doesn't mean we have to. Ambarish Maharaj, he was like the emperor of the planet, and he didn't even do the yagyas for the benefit of the citizens. He had his Brahmins do that. He would just worship Krishna. So even in the midst of great opulence, Priyavrata was in charge of the whole universe, but he never forgot Krishna. So it's not that we all have to be cornered. Just in Kali Yuga we have that tendency. But Srila Prabhupada said that's what intelligence is for, to understand what I should do. Otherwise I'm just wasting my intelligence on gathering data, information, and letting my intelligence become subordinate to my mind. Once our intelligence becomes the controller of the mind, then we can make very quick advancement.
Can you emphasize a little bit? Hare Krishna. Can you emphasize a little bit about Srila Prabhupada's 4 slogans? Preaching is the essence, purity is the force, and the other 2 also, a little bit.
Actually, Prabhupada didn't say those 4 things. Somebody read it in a book, and they said it to Prabhupada, and he said, yeah, that's nice. And we all say Prabhupada says, preaching is the, but anyway, he approved of it. I think they read it in some Christian book. Anyway, so we can learn from anywhere. So yes, preaching is the essence. So one may think, well, I'm not a preacher, and some people who do think they're a preacher would probably be better off if they didn't do it. But and so would the recipients, even more benefited. But we can all be part of the Sankirtan movement. We don't have to, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to go out and preach. But everybody can carry a few small books around. And when you meet somebody that's a nice person, just offer them a book. Not that we all have to, give intellectual lectures on the esoteric aspects of the Bhagavatam. But we can give a donation for distributing prasadam. That's preaching. Or we can go out, if we don't have any money, we can go out when they're distributing prasadam and help serve the prasadam to some people or in some university. So just by doing any service, or we can worship the deity in the temple so that when people come, they see the beautiful form of the Lord and they become attracted. So it's all preaching. Everything that we're doing, if we do it as Srila Prabhupada prescribed, everything we do in this movement is preaching. It's all meant to bring ourselves and others to Krishna's lotus feet. So, some people will speak, some people will distribute books, some people will distribute prasadam, some people will distribute the holy name, Harinam Sankirtan, Ratiyatra, Padiyatra, So we just all have to participate and try to participate more and more. And that's how we preach.
Yes.
I knew it had to, couldn't go by an event without Purushottam.
Very well. We are observing, we are hearing from your preaching and Srila Prabhupada's that we have to do all these things that you just mentioned, some of these things.
And more.
And yes, and more. But somehow, some of us are getting old, and some of us are very sickly at that. Though we want to do that and participate, the body just won't let us. The body just won't let us, some disease or some other things, and it's just like that. So, what do we do now?
Well, the body may not let us do certain things, and the mind may interfere, but on the level of consciousness, we can do everything we need to be fully Krishna conscious. I've seen paralytic devotees that can't even move their arms or legs in a wheelchair. I remember one devotee, I don't know if he's still with us. He was a Prabhupada disciple in San Diego. He could, his head was off to the side. He could barely talk, but when he chanted the Maha Mantra day and night, you wouldn't know it was the Maha Mantra if you heard him because he couldn't speak properly. But he was chanting day and night. I have one disciple in Venezuela. He was born with all kinds of birth defects. He can barely speak, but in his mind, he chants all day long. He's very Krishna conscious, and so there is no impediment. There is no impediment. The only impediment is our mind. The body is really not an impediment, although for doing certain services it may be, but to meditate on Krishna, the body, actually the more the body suffers, the more you might meditate on Krishna. If you hear about him sufficiently, you'll be inclined to meditate on him. And every one of us will get to the point where the body won't be able to do many things. Every one of us. As Prabhupada said when he was, about, I guess almost 3 weeks before he left, one devotee said, Prabhupada, it pains me so much to see you like this. And Prabhupada said, don't think it will not happen to you. No. So.
You live, a question I was asked was about your health and the surgery that you underwent and so forth. And devotees want to know more about you, how you're feeling, and a few of them were talking that the Guru suffers because of our bad, our bad actions. And at the time and the moment and stuff, we said, look, let's chant some extra rounds and try to, and offer it as your betterment. And when the surgery, when you took the surgery and everything, and it just died out again, it's like, because I was thinking when we were talking about it that, well, if it is because I said, yeah, I am full of faults, I need to buck up. But seeing that you're alright, I'm alright, because you're alright. They're alright because you're alright.
Yeah, there was a book, I'm okay, you're okay. So, my health is basically okay. I mean, I have this little hole in my head, but it's gradually healing up. It's going to take close to a year before it's normalized. Other than that, I don't see that I have any major problems. No. Yes, the Prophet said that if I made any mistakes, I made 3 mistakes. 1, accepting too many disciples, installing too many deities. I can't remember the third one. I have to look it up. So, meaning that Prabhupada could see that, most devotees were not capable, even communities, of worshipping Radha and Krishna properly. And we could see that around the world. Even here, sometimes we have to struggle to get enough devotees, and then we really don't know what is the standard of each devotee. We ask the devotee, are you following it? Yeah, but do we know? So, and if they're not, then that can create a problem. As in the story of Nityananda when he went to the house of Ramachandra Khan, because Ramachandra Khan insulted him. His whole family suffered. The Muslim leader came and he killed one of his cows and ate it right on his mandap. And then Prabhupada says that if one person acts improperly, the whole village may suffer. So if someone worships the deity or is cooking for the devotees and is not in good consciousness, it can affect everyone. We had that happen in Brazil. One lady devotee was not following the principles. She was cooking and everybody was getting sick. And finally, the GBC at that time asked her, well, so how are you? I said, well, actually, I'm not able to follow the. And they put a new cook in, and everybody was okay. So yeah, there's some that to some degree, to some degree that may be true, but I don't. It's not like let me chant more rounds. It's not some mechanical thing. What we should do, whether we see the Guru suffering or not suffering, we should try to hear and respond. Not like some mechanical thing. Well, he's sick. Well, now he's okay, so I'll stop chanting those extra rounds. It's not like that. It should be we're trying to increase our Krishna consciousness, and we should do so systematically, so that we can, go back to Godhead. When we do devotional service, Prabhupada said it may be mechanical in the beginning, but it has to become spontaneous. And not spontaneous according to me, but spontaneous according to Rupa Goswami. I mean, everybody can be spontaneous, but to be spontaneously attracted to Krishna is not a sentimental thing. Oh, I love Krishna. But if you love Krishna like that, you'll be fully engaged in intense devotional service. Yeah.
At the time of initiation, everybody was enthusiastic, and then when you ask, following the 4 basic principles, they say, yeah, you're chanting 16 rounds. They say yes. But after some time, you see a lot of them not chanting their rounds, and they may not be eating prasad all the time. Does that have a karmic reaction on you?
There may be something, It's not like every little thing, it just like devastates the spiritual master, right? Yes, if somebody doesn't, somebody makes a promise, doesn't chant the rounds, then there may be some effect. I'm sure that many people who I initiated, some of them I never even see. So and usually when I don't see someone, it's because they don't want to come and they're feeling some negativity, and so, or they may not be following properly. But Srila Prabhupada taught us through his example that if we're in this position of giving diksha or shiksha or both, because Prabhupada said, as far as that goes, that whole thing about reactions, one devotee asked Prabhupada, does the temple president who's recommending get a reaction if the devotees don't follow? Does he get some reaction? Prabhupada said, why some? Otherwise, let him have all of it. Then he'll learn to be more careful. he, she, or it. No. So this, it's just a question of, how much reaction. If the spiritual master is sincerely serving Krishna, then and not accepting disciples frivolously, which is actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, if you accept disciples cheaply, it's an offense. It's the 9th offense against the holy name. Giving Krishna consciousness, intimate Krishna consciousness to people who are lacking faith. So if the spiritual master is doing the duty diligently, then Krishna will protect him. He may get some little health issue or something like that, which all of us get whether we're initiating or not. So, is it this or is it that? I can't say. But we should not so much, like I said, our response should be based on instruction and not on some sentimental thing. Oh, he's suffering, so I'll do, a payavrata, or something like that. Or I'll do a little yajna in my house, help him out. But then, if I go back to my same activities, what's the use? What's the use of what did I achieve? It's just a mechanical thing. Yes.
In the same way, like, our fellow God brothers and God sisters, like we may know that they are struggling with their spiritual life, and they're probably not chanting their rounds and things like that. What are we supposed to do?
Well, I always recommend that if we see someone, then we practice Jivadoi. We go to the temple, get some Mahaprasadam, take it to their house, start out you can do it, electronically. Prabhu, I haven't seen you for a while, really missing you at the temple. And if we do that, if it comes from our heart, then Krishna will also, the effect will be in their heart. If we're really concerned about someone, and then if that doesn't work, then you go get some Mahaprasadam, go to their house and say, Prabhu, I brought you this. We haven't seen you for a while, so please come to the temple, and or maybe we can get together and chant together, or maybe you could come to my house and have some prasadam and bring your family. I think most devotees will be touched by this. And we should feel that way. We should feel, Prabhupada, one time, where did that happen? I think it was in France. Prabhupada arrived, and there was one lady devotee who was on the airplane, the same airplane with Prabhupada. And when they got off the plane, she had started to get sick, and they took her to the hospital. And so Prabhupada asked, where is so-and-so, Devi Dasi? And so Prabhupada, she got sick, and she's in the hospital. Prabhupada said, prepare a car, I will go to the hospital. So they got the car and everything, Prabhupada's going. And then so the temple president said, so Prabhupada, the car is ready. He said, so you go? No. Prabhupada was giving an example. Yes, we should be concerned. But why should you make the guru go? You go. And then bring her some prasadam, make her feel. So we should be concerned. Prabhupada was concerned. She was not like some big devotee, just a nice lady devotee. Prabhupada was concerned. So we should be concerned. Not, I'm glad that person finally got the reaction, rascal.
Okay, Hare Krishna. I think I'm going to ask a very controversial issue. And I hope people don't get offended. I've been doing service in the temple on Friday evening. Not that I do too much, but I came to realize that there is too much of service being overloaded on Sham Charan Prabhu. He has so much of work to do, and same thing with Sita Mataji. I feel like we have so much of this community around, and why we can't have something whereby everyone do a little service? Why they are always overloaded, and it's really bad. I'm sorry, I had to bring it up.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point, and there may be many reasons. I would say one of the reasons why many people don't go on the altar is because they're not following everything properly. And they don't want to say that, well, I would go on the altar, but so they just don't go. But there's other things that you could do. You can come and help clean the temple. You can, so many services we can do. But this is not, it's not something, I've seen bigger communities where they have the same difficulty. Actually, the only temples I know of outside of India where they really, like, you have to stand in line to be able to do service on the altar, or, Los Angeles, Bhaktivedanta Manor, maybe one or two places in Russia. Actually, in Russia, many temples, they have a waiting list for people to come into the temple. Because they don't have enough room. Because they suffered, like you were saying, because they suffered for so long, they're very anxious to be Krishna conscious. And so maybe we should all increase our suffering. We can pray for a war or something, coronavirus. Actually, it's interesting. Someone sent me, I think Bhakti Sandra sent me this little, she might have sent it to somebody else. Some man was showing on the back of a Lysol spray, and it says coronavirus, which means it's been around for a while, and now that we're just thinking it's something that just happened. It's actually, so everybody should get a can of Lysol. When you're around people, spray it on your mask, if you're traveling. I said that at GBC, they're very concerned because we had 50 Chinese devotees arrive in Mayapur. And some of them were from that district, Wansoon district. And so I said, well, we should issue everybody a can of Lysol. But anyway, yes, it's good. And, let us all encourage one another by our example to do more for service for the deity, more service for the altar. I think I see one service that's most needed is distributing Krishna consciousness, distributing books, Harinam Sankirtan. I think this is suffering more than the altar. Of course, I was very happy though that book distributions is increasing in Christmas marathon, but it's not like, wow, got that over with. We should try to keep on doing it. We have this tendency to do something, and then it's like Kartik. I follow Kartik. A lot of Hindus follow Kartik, and they don't eat fish for 5 days or something. For Kartik time, or they don't eat any meat during Kartik. But then we have to avoid that tendency to do something for some period of time, because it becomes like just a ritual. So we should, yes, it's a good thing, and I'm glad you brought it. I don't think it's controversial. I think it's a good thing that everyone should hear, and they can think, well, what could I do? Maybe I can't do so much, but maybe I can do a service once a month. If I can't do it every day, which is the best, or 24 hours a day is even better. But if I can't do that, then I do it once a week. And if I can't do it once a week, once every 2 weeks. If I can't do that, once a month. More than once a month, like once a year, that's a little, a little, you know, scarce, no, a little, but, you know, like, I think everybody could come and do a service once a month. And if 300 devotees do one service once a month, that means, you know, at least 3 more services a day. You know? And so, or 9 more services a day. So, yeah, we can work on this and, you know, try to encourage others. If everybody who's doing some service thinks of somebody that I know well, who's not, just go and talk to them. You know, like Naresh, you know, said, what do we do? Well, could you know, we know someone well enough, we have that confidence. Do you think you could, I've seen there's a need for this in the temple, do you think you could do it like once a month or something? If we all do that to someone else, then hopefully it will increase. Just like sometimes, I remember Parangati Prabhu, he arrived in France, he was the GBC. Oh, he's a very humble devotee. So he could see there was some need on the altar, so he went on the altar, and then 2 of the pujaris said, well, he's a sannyasi, he doesn't have any family, so they stopped doing service. No. So we have that tendency to do the opposite. Oh, now we have a full-time pujari, hey, but, you know, why should I go and do? We should have a waiting list to go on the altar. That would be ideal. I'd like to do a puja. Well, I can put you down here for like maybe March 3rd. No, we should achieve that. No, we should strive to achieve that. I'd like to come and cook. Yes, I think we can fit you in April sometime. No, let me see. No, that would be wonderful. What time is it?
I know we have it's number 12 after 7.
Okay, we got 3 more minutes.
3 more minutes.
And unfortunately, I have to leave for the airport tomorrow very early. So.
Say something.
Is this a question or a purport? Okay.
It's just something I wanted to say.
Okay, good.
Gurudev, thank you so much. Gurudev, I'd like to thank you very much. And I just wanted to say that some things that you just have to try and try and try again, and it might take years and years and years, but it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
It happens.
You captured the spirit of what I was saying. Yeah. It doesn't matter how long, but we just try to a little bit more every day or every week, whatever. We just always have the goal to do a little more for Krishna. No?
Because, like, for myself, it had some habits. I had, like, for instance, japa. I struggled with japa, but I kept trying, and then currently I'm actually feeling really well. I'm chanting every day.
I'm happy to hear that.
Like, I find time, I wake up in the morning early, and it just becomes easier as you go along.
Good. Doesn't matter, you know, it just, like I say, we just try to increase. Increase the quality, because when you increase the quality, you will increase the quantity. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So I think we kind of ran out of time.
Just one question.
Yeah.
It's on the point of initiation. Was another question that one aspiring disciple had, well, aspiring bhakta had. I know when we had spoken, you said you're thinking about increasing it to another 2 years.
I said, yeah, maybe.
Alright. So,
I said minimum.
Yeah. So now, just for everyone's clarity at least, when would you be accepting disciples again, and also the Brahman initiation for the first initiates and stuff? I mean, I
never stopped giving second initiation.
No, they want to know like when
they're qualified. But what I don't want to do is give people second initiation, and after a year, they're, slacking off and they're not chanting. We have too many people like that, not just my disciples and every, so, people should take second initiation, as Prabhupada says in Chaitanya Charitamrita. They want to come closer to the Guru for further instruction in how to increase their devotional service. It means to increase, otherwise, what's the use of taking second initiation? It's not some, I've been around for so many years, I should take second initiation. Prabhupada said in more than one occasion, there's no need for second initiation. Meaning, if you're not going to use it properly, what's the use? It's like some people, they have like so many books and they never read them. So what's the use if you're not going to read them? I also have many I haven't read, but I wanted to create a library for the future, as a reference. So I have like about 1,200.
So Gurudev, on behalf of the Trinidad Yatra, on all the disciples present and not present, thank you very much for coming and inspiring us.
Well, maybe those not present aren't thanking so much.
And we want to do have a safe journey back to your next destination.
First I go to Panama, then US, and then India, within the next 3 days. So
and
it's going to be a lot of travel.
Yeah, a lot of travel. And I know you're coming back for the South Ratha Yatra, is it?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're looking forward to seeing you again. With 3 Lord Haribo, let us show.
There may be one before that. I'm waiting for the confirmation.
Alright. 2, 3. Haribo! 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 His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj ki! So we have a little Maha sweets that Gurudev distribute quickly because he has to go and organize to pack and so forth. Right, Krishna? Okay.